Buongiorno, darlings. Happy Monday. How you doing today? It's been an interesting, spicy morning. Actually, spicy is the wrong word. Effervescent, or Rosanna Dana. I think my hair is the representation of how everybody might be feeling right now. Gem season does hit hard. It does hit hard. You know, I was chatting at the cafe the other day with a dear friend and Gemini, and she's like, not everybody can handle Gemini season. She's a Gemini sun, and she's like, yeah, it's a lot for a lot of people. I'll definitely put the link for the Gemini introductory video in here, just so we kind of know a little bit of like what the vibration is that everybody might be feeling like throughout the season. I talked about, you know, having a vision board at the beginning of Gem season, and probably around now you're kind of like scratching some things off, just cutting the fat a little bit, because it's a lot. It's a lot. We have a lot of ideas being pushed on us. We have a lot of information coming to us. There's so much happening all at the same time. So really we kind of, what did I say? Give your mind time to process. Confusion. Not many people can handle Gem season. It's a lot. It's a lot. And for Gem placements, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's two brains. And okay, well actually, so when in this season, for a lot of us, we'll learn all this new information in one brain and then immediately want to teach people about it in the next. We say, oh my God, I had this incredible meditation. I got to tell you all about it. Oh my God, I just saw this incredible article. I want to tell about it. Oh my God, I just saw this influencer and they had the best haircut. Now I'm going to go do that haircut. Like, yes, go do it. Go have fun. Be your bold self. We have lots happening in Leo right now. So cut your hair, do the thing, shoot your shot, have fun. But try not to constantly soapbox it, and give your time, give your mind time, give your being time, give your human avatar time. Nothing needs to rush right now. Our brains are doing this, and we're processing and digesting, if you will, so much information all at the same time, that like the most courageous thing that you can do is actually slow down and turn off your phone and put your feet in the dirt and not wear your headphones. This is hard for me too. I'm not preaching at you. This is a very difficult thing for me to do. I was in a webinar all weekend with Dr. Stephen Greer. I'll put the link to his page below. I don't even want to get into all of that, but it was just a big disclosure event that happened at DC. I attended virtually. It was incredible. But like, as I have that on in my computer in the background, I have my tarot reading in front of me. I have, you know, my phone open at one point listening to another podcast, and I had my journal. I had all these different things, and I was just like, oh my God, my brain is limitless. I can do all this all at the same time. Actually, no. It's not easy for our bodies to digest all of that information, all of these things happening all at the same time. So I had to like leave the house and go for a walk and just look at the birds and just give myself the time to nap and to rest and to just not feel like I needed to be productive or try to figure out how to monetize things. That was just my experience of it. But please comment below. How's Gem season treating you? What's your sun sign? What's your rising sign? And how is it affecting your chart? Like, just let us know what's going on. So today we are going to be talking about the new moon. So please go get your journals and please go get some coffee, some tea, a snack. I have some espresso and some dried mango pieces, and I always have my water as well. Tarot journal calendar. And I'll use this as my pause. Pause the video, please. Cool. I'm Gem season in a nutshell right now. So let's go over. This new moon is happening on the 18th of June for the Gold Coast, the 18th of June at 14:36 in the afternoon. And for Gloucester, Eastern Standard Time, it's at 18th of June, very first thing in the morning at like 12:36 a.m., like very, very first thing in the morning. And on the 17th, we had Saturn going retrograde in Pisces. This little guy over here, so I have him kind of at like a station. He's just like turning himself around over here. So, okie dokie. Sarah, what does all of this mean? Talk to me, Goose. So let's look at it as individual lenses. New moon, first lens. perfect time to manifest, to plant seeds. It's kind of the darkest little point in the sky where like that's like fertile ground to like plant seeds. Like in the manure, that's kind of the best time to put the seeds in. That's when the soil's all fertile and stuff like that. So that's what's happening. It's when the sun and the moon are at the exact same point in the sky together. So that happens, everybody on the planet gets a new moon. It just depends on where your consciousness is sitting on this planetary grid as to when it will be affecting you. What else? So new moon, what is Gemini? Definitely go back and watch the Gemini introductory video to get a little bit of the vibe about how you might be feeling, but I'll just use the general chart right over here. So we start at Aries and we go all the way to Pisces. Right now, the third house is run by Gemini. The third house is communication, language, early learning, and short trips. And it's more so like early learning as to like how you understood the boundaries of communication. The first time that you ever said a swear word, or the first time that you ever discovered something, who were the people around you, and how did that help mold what you found to be the safety bucket of communication? Were there any traumas within there? I was slapped across the face the first time I ever asked my mother what the word fuck was. I had no idea what it was. I had heard it in school and she slapped me right across the face. So I've made that joke before. No fucking clue as to why I swear so much right now. But communication, mutable, positive air energy. So mutable meaning like Aries is cardinal, wants to go first. Taurus is fixed, slow moving. Mutable, I learned something new, I can adapt to it. I have this idea, I'm going with it. We go with the flow a little bit. Go with the flow a little bit. We have Mercury also in Gemini right now. This is at 11 degrees. This is how do I say? What do they call it? This is like the ruler of the new moon. Lots of air, lots of information, this is like our personal Hermes in the sky. So this is when we get dreams. This is when we get ideas. This is when we get downloads. This is when we get intuitive hits. But also at the same time, let's just go back and watch the mental health video because of this guy over here. Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. They're both going retrograde this month. So I just want you to go back because I don't want to talk too much about that, but just to say like grounding and mental health is a huge deal right now. Imperative. Having some form of meditation, some form of like, I have a process every morning that I do that reminds me who I am, how the most authentic version of myself will handle this day, how I'm going to present myself moving forward in the world. What is it that we do to make ourselves feel safe and okie dokie? Do we have, rocks and stones on, fidget spinners? Do we have, what else is it that we do? Do we have a way to kind of bubble ourselves and protect our aura? Like, what are we doing in the woo-woo that makes us feel safe and comfortable going out? What are we doing as, leaders? It was a Brendan Burchard years ago, like High Performance Habits, where he had given himself 3 questions first thing in the morning. Like, what am I most excited about today? What could trip me up? And how would my best self handle it? And how can I surprise someone that I love? And I loved that. Because it's not like I want to say like prepare for the worst, but if we anticipate anything happening outside of ourselves and then we say, how would my best self handle it? It doesn't really feel like a challenge anymore, does it? It feels like we're facing Bowser at a level that we didn't expect. And it's kind of like, it's like accepting the physical challenge. I'll take the physical challenge. Like, yeah, everything that happens outside of you is just like a physical challenge. That's double dare. I'm aging myself. I'm 36, but okay. So new moon, Gemini, run by Mercury, third house. I'll just give a little bit of like the general, even if you don't know anything about astrology, this wheel over here, this is our rising sign. So this is kind of like the mask we wear to the world, but where we want to do things on our own. This is our relationship sign, the descendant, but also like our daily life and the people that are around us. Down here, this is the roots of the tree of our life. This is safety, where we feel at home in the world. And up here, this is our public life. Legacy, big things, like where we feel like we're on stage is up here. So this is all happening collectively in the bottom of ourselves where we feel safe. Communication is a way to feel safe. Honest to goodness, this is interesting. I haven't given this parable in a little while. It's like when the building's on fire and everyone's running around and everyone's screaming and everyone's freaking the fuck out. Are you listening to the person that's standing like meekly in the corner that's like, can you stop doing, did somebody call? Anybody? No, please, no, I think you go over here. Oh my goodness, they're doing something so bad. I can't even believe that they're doing that. Okay, no, you're doing great, sweetie. It's okie dokie. Or are you listening to the motherfucker that's like, you, shut the fuck up, you go do this. No, I've called 7 times. Give me your cell phone. This is over here. Go save that baby. Women and children first. This is happening. Fuck off. Do this. Listen to me. And it's not gentle. So although it can seem nicer not to tell the person in front of you or the people in your life or whatever situation is happening how you feel, it's actually most necessary. It's actually most necessary right now. Don't ingest the poison of I feel something inside that I'm not expressing, because that will just come out in negatives towards you. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die type mentality. So, okay. So this is perfect time to manifest. Information's coming in hot, all of the good things. Mental health is a big deal right now. Blah, 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 blah. Okie dokie. So you're telling me this is the perfect time to manifest, Sarah. You're also telling me I'm going to be confused as fuck. I've explained why. We have a lot of this happening over here. This is happening over here. And we've got a lot of excitement happening over here. This is our 5th house. This is Leo. We have Venus, Mars, and Lilith in Leo over here in our house of play. So Sarah, let's blend this soup together. Good things are coming in hot. Good things are coming in hot. And it's going to feel, I have a video to record about Jupiter in Taurus. It's, what did I call it? I have not recorded it yet, but I got where is it? A slow and seemingly unnoticed glow up year. That's what Jupiter in Taurus is going to feel like. That's this guy over here. In our house of money, please. Access to resources, money and what we value. So definitely what we value, how we like to be bougie, all those good things. That's kind of like Jupiter will be in this sign for a year. So good things are coming for all of us. That's super exciting. This, and I am not going to get into, if you would like to do your own research, or definitely I'll put Pam Gregory and I'll reference her, as well as the Energy Boutique. These are astrologers that really will deep dive into the squares and the sextiles and all the different things. That is not it's not a lens that I really want to deep dive into with you, but it's something that I'm going to highlight because of what it kind of blends the whole thing together. So we have the sun and moon over here that is squaring Neptune. Squaring. So think of coming up to an intersection and your one's got to move or the other's got to move. It's like not the best blending of energies. Thank you. It's like a little bit of a bumping up to like, what? No, I disagree with you, but I can't, so Neptune, disillusion, illusion in Pisces, like, just tons and tons of water energy. Cry it out, motherfuckers. Cry it out if you can. Cry it the fuck out. Squaring up to this new moon. What else did I highlight? Mercury we already talked about. Saturn already talked about. Okay. Blend it all together, Sarah. Good things are going to be happening quickly. Take your time to sign on the dotted line. Take your time to enjoy the fairy tale. It's like we've been having shit thing after trauma, after, soul contract ending, trauma response, trauma bond, like challenge, Bowser, new level, new side level I didn't expect. So we're all so desperate as starseeds for a win, for our, person to come in and find us, for our savior, for whomever it to be, the good thing to come in. And they're going to be coming in hot. but don't jump. Enjoy the joy of living. Enjoy the good moment. Enjoy the fairy tale. Enjoy the romance. Do you want to be on your wedding day talking about like, oh my God, no, we met and there was no courtship. We just moved in together. We just knew it was right and that was it. Or do you want to paint the picture and enjoy building the fairy tale? There was a perspective that I heard that really, really changed things for me. And I've been offering this perspective to clients as well is, when you get the thing, whether it be meeting your future partner, the job offer, the winning the lottery, the bucket of money just pops up in your living room, whatever it may be, whatever your manifestation is, there's going to be a morning after where you wake up and you're like, wow, that happened. I did it. I created that. Now what? Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. There was a great Lewis Howes, and I forget, it's from the School of Greatness, but he was talking to Dr. Andrew Huberman, and Dr. Huberman was saying, as leaders and entrepreneurs and forward thinkers, we know to, but also must remember to attach the dopamine to the process. Because when we get the thing, we're the same person. We're the same being. And it doesn't change who we are. It doesn't change, pardon me, how you go to the bathroom. It doesn't change. So we must, and this is the manifestation, live into it now as if we have it now. But remember, trying not to get overexcited up, overexcited down, overexcited side to side. Give your mind and your being the time to process and to really look at it and experience it and love it and be grateful for it. What did I write down? The signs evolving. I'll put the link to that below. I feel like that would be advantageous for gem season as well. So many different bits of information that we can have coming in, but looking at the positive, the evolving, and the negative side of the Gemini would also be advantageous for us. So I'll put the link to that below. Yeah. The energy to me is like fully integrating the feeling of having the thing as quickly as we can so that when it comes, we don't freak the fuck out. We're just like, yeah, I've been preparing for this. I've been getting ready for this. I've been surrendered. I've been moisturized. I've been taking care of myself. Like, I was, in that Dr. Stephen Greer event all weekend, and there was something that I wrote down yesterday that was so, and it's so real. When you see how bad or how massive the whole thing is, the most courageous thing to do is simple. Go garden, go splash in a puddle, go build your new world from the inside out. And so I found that to be very interesting because when we get our manifestation, when it comes in hot, the next thing that we want to do is like, what else can I make? I manifested $1 million. Let's manifest $10 million. I manifested this. Let's manifest that. It's like we must always remember the celebration cycle, if we will. That anytime we receive something or we work towards something and we get it, celebrate that. Celebrate that. And enjoy the joy of the process. Enjoy every little bit of it. Because the next day, when you meet them or you get the thing or you just feel the success of whatever it is that you're creating, I want you to nourish that feeling and saturate yourself with it and just live into that feeling now. Like, visualize waking up the next day. You meet the mans, you meet the womans, you get the thing, you get the job offer, you get the whole thing, your product just takes off, whatever it is that you're working towards. what is that going to feel like? Is it going to be just dance out of bed and there's just like butterflies around and you're just so excited and you just want to make more, you just want to give more and do more? Like, really feel that feeling now. Feel that feeling now. So that when it comes, just like I've been saying when the negative happens outside of us, it's like, interesting. No, I see this good thing. You're literally everything that I've ever asked for, everything that I've ever wanted, but here's my number. Okay, and I'll just wait. You'll call me. No, I'll call you. Okay, cool. And then have your excitement in private, but like, let the fairy tale build. Give yourself time to process the good, the whole thing. I don't even want to say bad. We've dealt with enough bad. I just want to say good right now. So give your mind time to process. And it's like, I'm trying to think of the way that I want to say this. Start to like start to create this little world of yours. Like, picture yourself like under like a dome, your own little life, your own little bubble. Like, this is you just walking down the street, living your life, and then there's this just huge protective bubble around you that is safe as can be. You've created that bubble. All's well in the bubble. I can handle anything in the bubble. I know what I'm dealing with. I know what it is, a trauma response, all these little things. So that no matter what happens outside of the bubble, you're really not even concerned about it. It doesn't really affect you. It doesn't really affect your everyday. It's a good show, but it really has nothing to do with you. That way, when the good thing comes in and knocks on the bubble and is like, hey, I really would love to be a part of this bubble. I just see you and you're just incredible and I just want to hear. You'll be able to say, like, is this what I want in my bubble? Is this what I need in my bubble? Am I just so desperate for some A, B, or C that I'm just so willing to let anybody into my bubble? Because I've really nourished this bubble. I've really spent some time like differentiating what's good, bad, and ugly in my bubble, and I've cleaned my bubble and it's really nice. So not like I want to be like those memes of people like on their first dates being like, how are you processing your traumas? How are you dealing with those things? It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Just not be weary, but let it be romantic. Like, let it be beautifully romantic. Yeah. Let it, like it, whatever it is, be romantic. And not just like love romantic, but just like the right job just finds you. The right opportunity just finds you. The right client just finds you. And that's not a sexual thing. That's not a sensual thing. But just make it so, yeah. Enjoy it. Enjoy that joy. Yeah, the Neptune square, there's just like, okay, I'll just reference this last little guy. Pluto is retrograde back into Capricorn right now. That happened yesterday, the 11th of June. As I record this, it's the 12th. And so Pluto will be in the sign of Capricorn until, I want to say next October, November 2024. And then it will be in Aquarius for 20 years. So what does that mean, Sarah? It means anything. Think of your life since 2008. That's when Pluto went into Capricorn. So since 2008 until now, Pluto's been in the sign of Capricorn. Really just highlighting and transforming and showing like inappropriate top-down authorities, parental structures, hierarchies within any sort of business. Think all things Capricorn. They're the GOAT. Like, this is work, public life, Korea. Like, think of that. So any little bits of what has been going on since then, I want you to maybe do a little bit of a journal, a little deep dive, and just to be like, what are the last few things that I really need to deal with? And to me, for me, I'll speak from I statements. I can only ever do that. It's, fully about like, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not an adolescent anymore. I'm really responsible for my whole life, my business, my finances, my reputation, my presentation. Yes, I cannot change the way that others feel about me, nor can I change the way that some people, having known other versions of Sarah, and the way that they're going to feel. You can't change that, but you can accept the shame. You can accept yourself and learn how to love yourself and trust yourself So for me, as I've been sharing openly and authentically here, I've been removing cannabis flower from my life. It's not been easy. The loneliness that is screaming, as any of you know, but when you have set the table for your values for health, honest communication, wellness, mindfulness, whatever it may be, abundance, entrepreneurship, and if you are the only person sitting at that table after you've set the stage for that, it does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that the people that you're meant to be with and that are meant to be at that table are just off, taming their dragons, and that they'll be here soon. But don't compartmentalize yourself. Don't diminish yourself to bring others to the table. Just learn how to love the quiet time in between and act as if. I'll just leave that there. So, is there anything else I want to reference before we skedaddle? No, I think we're good for the intro. I think we're good. Just when it comes to manifesting, and we'll go over, where this is falling in your chart for the rising signs. I do whole house rising sign videos. Definitely know that this is going to happen quickly. Give yourself the time and the space to process, and give yourself a checklist. My guides are saying a checklist. Depending on what it is that you're looking on manifesting, or depending on what it is that you're trying to bring into your life right now, maybe do a preliminary checklist. I'll give you an example. Say if it's a job. These are the things that are completely necessary for my work environment, and these are the things that I will not stand for in my work environment. And then maybe overlay that with your current job and where it is that you'd like to go, blah, blah, blah. Same thing for a partner. These are the things that I absolutely need in my partner. These are the expectations. These are the values that they need to have. These are the things that I will not stand for. These are the things that I bring to the table, and these are the things that I have laid to bed. You see what I mean? Because when it happens, we can't live out of our trauma responses and be like, this is a test from the universe. No, we're open to the experience. We're open to the being, to the person. They were drawn to us because we contracted that. So really just good, bad, or ugly, how are we going to face, how are we going to process, what is our process for processing all the things that happen outside of ourselves? Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a little bit about what I would love for this new moon to bring for all of us, is regardless of the information, the activity, regardless of the stimulus in the outside world, what is our new habit of how we process it and how we kind of say, is this for me? Is this not for me? What are the negotiables? What are the non-negotiables? Yeah, that's good. Because it's going to be cuckoo. We're going into a very magical time and space. And these are things that I'm actively learning. Because there are times that I can, how do I say? I was cooking yesterday. I know, if you know me. The house is fine. The dishes are still in the sink, but I did it. So I was cooking something, and when you just have a tiny little bit of things on your fingers, so you just turn on the faucet, just kind of clean it off and then turn it off. So with the tiny little bit of turning on the faucet, it was shh. I was immediately transported back to, what was it? I grew up in Bedford, Massachusetts. So it was in Springbrook Park, and I was working 12 years old, and was, working at the, like the slush stand in the front, and I was a swim instructor's aide, and it was just like I was in the lockers, and I was just like washing my hands. I was washing some sand off my hands or something like that, and then came immediately back. So and I literally was like, wow, that is so cool. That is so cool how multidimensional, how quickly time and space is just shoot, 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 shoot. So my meditations in the morning are not spent astral traveling, are not spent going other places. They are spent grounding in, pulling my aura in, protecting myself, bubbling myself, finding like, what, am I okay? Is my inner child okay? Is my inner adolescent under control? Can I see my higher self clearly? Do I have access to all of these things? Do I feel mentally stable and in control of my thoughts, words, and actions, or conscious of the fact that I'm not my thoughts? I'm aware and I'm watching, like all those things. You feel set and ready. It's success, like kind of like Nemo, first day of school, first day of school, first day of school. And I'm like, actually, you're good. You don't need to be all over the place. Because then I can tell the difference of when I'm pulled into a channel, when I'm pulled into a meditation, when, things happen and move on their own around my home. I'm not like, ooh, who is it? What's going on? I'm like, that's my angel. We're good. We're good. We're good. Nope, that's Grammy. We're good. We're good. There's no question anymore. So, yeah, we'll talk about the North Node and the South Node and the individuals. I think that's it. Please comment below. How has Gemini season been treating you? What are some of the new things that you're excited about? Like, are there new focuses that have come to be that you're just like, wow, this passion, this new idea, this new way to create is really so cool. I have to just give a little bit of, I've met a lot of people that are really coming into their artistic abilities and just making art to make art, because it's so helpful to, when you can't articulate and when you can't describe what God looks like and the way that God speaks to you and the way that things are happening and this multidimensional, like wild infinite space, like there's no way to describe the beauty of it. But making art helps. And so many people are, immediately, like I have met so many light workers and starseeds that are like, I'm creating art. It's terrible. They have to preface with, it's awful. I'm just doing abstract. I'm just doing that. Why did you immediately say it's awful? Who told you what art had to look like? Just make it. Just make it and then throw it away afterwards. Just make it. I don't care. I don't care what you think is good, bad, or ugly. Just make it. Just make art. Just make art. A fellow starseed years ago, she described it as like, when the world thinks that you're crazy, making art is like taking a portion of your soul and putting it onto a canvas or something and being like, see, I'm not crazy. This is how I feel inside. See, I'm not crazy. It's art. So just keep making art and romanticize that. I want you to romanticize everything today, darling, because Neptune can be so beautiful. Like, I don't want this square. I don't want any of these energies to ever be scary. I want us to love it and to say, wow, this is something that my consciousness came down to this planet to experience, and I know I can handle it like a champ, because I'm a champ. So I think that's all for now. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you in the individuals. And the individuals are mostly for rising signs because we use the chart, but can also be watched for your sun sign and moon sign to get a little bit of the vibrations, but the placement of the planets will affect the whole sign rising sign video, or whole sign rising signs. So ciao, ciao. See you soon.